Psychics are becoming the counselors of choice for a new generation. High atop Cannery Row, a psychic is at work.
I don't know why I saw so much theater around you in your past life especially.
Meet Monnica Sepulveda, psychic slash therapist slash entertainer.
You've got two to choose from. And some people, we're still looking for one.
On this night, she's telling the fortunes of a large crowd at a Monterey nightclub and making believers out of the disbelievers.
As far as the relationship goes, you know, I feel really good about this, but I have to tell you something. Beware of pregnancies. You're pregnant right now? Oh, my God.
Sepulveda calls this intuition and then some.
What comes through is a deceased family member that just crossed over, and they're able to talk to me or tell me information, and they pass on specifics, things that I wouldn't know.
She says she first started knowing those things before the age of 2. By the time she was a teenager, Sepulveda was seeing and hearing the past and the present. At age 21, Monnica Sepulveda was a practicing psychic.
But I think right now you need to reevaluate what your purpose is in life and what you really came here to do. So what I do for people is I give them perspective, I see what's going on, I can explain why it's happening to them, and if they need to make some shifts or changes, I can tell them exactly what they need to do.
It's 8:07, it is a Psychic Tuesday.
One morning a week, this Salinas radio station opens up the airwaves for questions and answers.
Can you make some sense out of my life?
You're a little bit too hard on yourself is what I'm picking up.
And these free readings keep the phone lines ringing.
Oldies 93.5.
Yeah, I got a question for Monica.
They're willing to stay on the line and hold for 5-10 minutes just for a chance to be able to talk to Monica. And out on the street, you hear it the next day going, you know, golly, your phone is always busy.
And their expertise isn't going unnoticed.
First of all, okay, because I'm feeling that there's a little bit of challenge there.
Monnica Sepulveda uses numerology, a birth date, and then she says her brain takes over.
I believe I'm using a different part of it, and you can too, but it requires that a person be in a state of relaxation or at peace in order to be able to receive your own hunches. Hunches, intuition, psychic ability is the same thing. There is no difference.
Many would beg to differ.
You don't need to have bosses telling you what to do, because that'll tick you off, you know? You'll do...
At this point, whether you believe them or not is irrelevant.
Wait a minute, no, I see 2 girls for her.
That's because the age of the psychic has already arrived, and it's apparently here to stay. See, don't bother psychic Monnica Sepulveda.
I think it's healthy to be skeptical with an open mind, but skepticism with a closed mind, that's, to me, it's showing ignorance.
Of his guides.
Since I am a therapist also, what I do is I combine 2 practices together.
The Aptos woman says people understand themselves better after she reads into their past and their future.
What I do for people is I give them perspective, I see what's going on, I can explain why it's happening to them, and if they need to make some shifts or changes, I can tell them exactly what they need to do.
In some respects, she teaches them the game of life and how to play it. That means taking the good with the bad.
But there seems to be a choice that's coming your way. Those negatives, I prefer to call them challenging times, the time to reap and the time to learn. Even businesses have high cycles and low cycles. The low cycle, it's not that you need to panic and wonder, God, why is this happening? When's it going to change? No, that's the time to become introspective and try to find new ways to be creative.
Our guests then. Joining us now are 3 psychic detectives who are here to give their psychic insights into the Simpson case, as well as other famous unsolved crimes. Sylvia Brown, who was just speaking, has worked with the FBI and the police in solving such cases as the ski mask rapist, the Polly Klaas kidnapping, and the World Trade Center bombing. She also works on hauntings and with doctors in identifying mysterious illnesses. And sitting next to Sylvia is Ron Warmoth, who has over 25 years' experience as a psychic. He's worked with police in cracking jewelry robberies and nailing criminals like the lost dog rapist here in L.A. Ron also uses his abilities to locate oil and precious minerals and to counsel businesses. And last is Monnica Sepulveda, who works as a psychic detective, therapist, and numerologist. Now, she communicates with the spirits of those who have passed on and says that recently she received a visit from Nicole Simpson's spirit. Won't you please welcome all of our psychics to the show? Thank you all for being here. I want to start our conversation, Monica, with this visit that you say. You actually saw Nicole's spirit?
What happened was, and I wasn't going to participate in any kind of a program like this because I just didn't want to. I'm busy anyway with clients, but
a month ago, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and my body was completely paralyzed and I was not asleep, but I couldn't move it. And I had my foot sticking out. You know how you do that when you want to cool down? And you know what I mean? But I couldn't move it and I was getting a little panicky and I felt this energy. It was moving in a counterclockwise motion and it was at my feet and it was moving up my body and I started to panic because I didn't know why this was happening. But then I heard someone say, "It's okay." So I went with it. And the next thing I know, I'm on this phone and I'm hearing her voice, and it was her voice. It was like eavesdropping. She was talking to someone. But then I said, "Nicole," and she said, "Yes." It's like I interrupted, and I asked her some questions, and she told me what happened. And it was pretty specific, but there was a lot involved in that particular event that evening that when I finally came to again, I was able to move, but it was so real, Lisa, that's why I decided that maybe I better start looking into this.
You mean she told you what happened? She told you that she had been murdered?
Yes.
And what else?
And who did it? And I can't talk about it, but you know, I want to do whatever I can to help.
What was her purpose for communicating with you in that way? I mean,
she's very upset. She's very upset that she's been ripped away from her children. She's upset that this has happened to her. She's an incredibly loving person. She lives for her children. And she's concerned about them, but she wants to see justice, and she's going to try whatever she has to in order to make sure that justice is served, and she's very upset right now.
Did you get any communication or any feeling from the other side of Ronald Goldman?
Ronald Goldman's even in a worse place. He's so emotionally upset, I couldn't even communicate to him at all. So it's a struggle for him.
So she passed over with relative ease.
The best thing to do is really for people to pray for them. I believe in prayer, I do pray, and I believe that helps, it comforts. And then you have to release it.
Sylvia, they are arriving to gather vibrations and what they could feel and sense from being in that place of what may have occurred and insights into what the future may hold.
The pattern I'm getting here, oh my gosh, because yeah, this is Simpson's home,
Yeah,
so...
but you get the tremendous sadness from the...
there is, yes, don't you feel that?
Sadness.
There is a lot of sadness here. Yeah, the vibrations here about the memory, and there's so much confused energy
well,
here.
Well, I think it's there's so much hurt and betrayal.
Yes, absolutely.
On all parts.
Repeatedly, though.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, and for more than what we know.
I think where the murder weapon went, I think it's in like a body of water.
She crossed over pretty quickly. I didn't feel that she suffered. She went very quickly, and I saw him, in fact, struggling to get out, but I felt him crossing over, not as easily as her, but he did cross over, and he was okay. You're not going to find it.
I think it's in brackish water, perhaps a canal, and I think it's probably sunk under silt or under mud.
Connie, you're going to be more and more in love each day.
Oh.
And there's lots of sex, too.
Sex, yeah. Forget sex. No? Ratings are going to be sky high.
Yeah, I like ratings.
And the audiences love you. You're hotter than Letterman.
Letterman?
Yes.
Oh, no.
What? What? What's happening to me? Does psychics really have this kind of power? Somebody please let me out of here. I've got a show to host.
Thank you very much. Oh, wow. It was tough getting out of there. Was it tough? Oh, Letterman. I've been trying to get rid of Letterman now. Guy's in love with my wife, I'm telling you that. It seems everywhere you look these days, there's talk about psychics. Psychic headlines are popping up all over television. Neighborhood psychics have more customers, apparently, than ever before. That's what the magazines are saying. Read it now. They say that they're almost never wrong. Aha, but Barbara's a well-known psychic from Palm Beach. Monica is leading the stars in California. And so you've been listening to our guests today. First of all, Barbara and Monica, is John doing something with someone else?
No.
Not at all.
Amen.
Really? What makes you so sure?
Because the issue here is with Rita's problems with trust, self-esteem, and this man really, really loves her. And
You could just
she
look
needs-
into his
yes,
eyes and
he
tell
really
that?
loves her, and she needs to be done with this lesson.
Oh, what's this, oh please? You don't
what?
believe him?
No,
You don't believe
I do.
them?
Well, wait, to a certain extent I do, but I still, as you grow and life changes, you still have more questions about your relationship or your career
This
or
is
whatever.
never ending.
They're your issues.
I can consult
But
consult a psychic
let me
about
say,
it.
I never said that John was unfaithful. I just said he had a roving eye and he does not know how to say no.
Okay.
I never
yes.
said he was unfaithful. No. She really
Tough
did.
crowd.
No. She really
This is a
did.
very
I never
tough
said
crowd.
that. I never said that.
In my opinion-
I did not say that.
Dealing with our audience, all right?
Okay.
Because they got lots of questions about their own lives. Yes.
Hi. Can you tell me about my future?
Why?
I want to know if I'm going to have a good future.
In what area?
In what?
Life.
Life itself? Life
My
itself?
relationship, if I'm going to get married, if I'm going to have lots of money.
Anything else?
You know what? Actually, right now, it looks like you're needing to take care of all your finances. Get those things in order. You're needing to organize. I'm
that
not
true?
seeing you.
Is
Yeah, I'm
that
not seeing
true?
you.
All right,
You know, the
okay,
balance
yes.
of the checkbook and stuff.
Hi, Barbara. I would like to know when my son will get a job.
And boy, we have it all the time, don't we?
Yes.
But you know, he's a smart kid. He really is. He's been through a lot in the last 6 months. But I sincerely feel within a 2 to 3 week period. See, I'm a psychic who read for now, not months or years, that cause problems. I'm positive. And he has a lot of spirituality and insight. He's getting back on the track.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, right. Quickly.
Hi, first of all, I want to say I've seen Kim, and she's very cost-effective and very good, but I'd like to ask Barbara.
You've seen her?
I've seen her professionally, and she's excellent. I mean, her success
We
rate
don't
with me
need
has
this.
been
We don't need-
99.5.
Are you a plant?
No, I'm not. I want to ask Barbara, something is occurring in my career, and I want to know if I'm going to get it.
Most definitely.
Okay, great.
Are you
Well,
singing?
I already told you that,
Are you
though.
doing some singing right now or in front of
Yes,
people?
I'm an actress, and I'm up for a
Okay,
movie
yeah, because
role.
you're going to do
and I was-
well.
Oh, I
I
don't
said
believe
this is
this
going to be your
stuff. I
year. This is going to be your
Quickly.
year.
Yes, I would like to know to the psychic on the far right. I had a wonderful relationship for 6 years, and we were both very much in love with each other, and he was killed in an automobile accident 2 years ago. Will I ever meet anyone else in my lifetime?
You know,
another man.
Most definitely. You know,
I've had
this
no
is something
no luck.
else. It's
Do you
very
all ever
good.
disagree?
Wait a moment. I was just going to, certainly, but only to benefit. But you know something? We don't talk to the dead.
Right.
That's a myth, all right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm due a promotion at work pretty soon. If I don't get it, I'm thinking of quitting.
What do you
You know what? You need to move on because I'm feeling like you haven't been able to take risks in life, and you need to do this. I feel like you've limited yourself, and if you move on in the next year or so, you're going to set yourself up for some financial security, and that's what you're really afraid of, is not having it.
Yeah.
So you've stayed put.
And you need a checkup. You need a health checkup.
You need a health checkup?
You need to go to the doctor. I'm serious. I'm very good at this. It helps a lot of people. You need to go. And do you wear glasses?
No.
Check them out. You need a lot of paperwork here.
I'll tell you what. Let's pause. We'll come right back because we got a lot more to talk about with us. Monica, do you have something I don't have?
I think I haven't developed more than you have it. I think everybody has it.
Everybody's going to. You use it in your field, sir. I use it with the police department.
You call it
What?
pension.
We call it what? Intuition?
Intuition.
It's intuitiveness.
I
It's
see.
awareness.
It's a feeling
God gave it to us.
Well, let's find. Okay, stand right up. Yes.
At what point do you know that you are a psychic?
Do you think you are?
No.
I don't like the word psychic because it has such negative connotations, but it just means inner soul knowledge. Everybody has it, but you know, everyone can draw a picture, but not everybody's an artist. Yet you can work at it and become an artist. People can develop this more and more, but I want people to go within and look for your answers inside yourself. You don't need me, but people depend on me, and I'm here to show you that in fact you have it, and I can guide you with it.
This lady wants to ask you something.
Okay.
My daughter and I are going to Atlantic City tomorrow.
Are you going to
I want to
win?
know if we're going to win.
You know, I don't use my ability to do that kind of thing. People
Oh,
always
are
ask me
you
about
kidding?
lottos. Never.
I got a guy in the back who plays the lottery every week.
If
I
I
mean,
knew
he
the
wants
numbers, I
at you
wouldn't
so
tell you.
badly. He wants to find out what numbers to pick. No? You
No.
can't tell him that?
That's a standard thing. They
But
always say.
Barb, look at this.
wouldn't do
Look
that.
at this. Barbara's going to this lady.
That's an abusive.
Barbara's going to this lady. Okay, it's okay.
She's
You're
gonna
going to
do
win.
well.
Now, do you
She's gonna
believe
have
that?
fun.
Do you believe you're going to win?
No, I said she's going to do well.
She went like this.
It
She
would
went...
probably be the first time.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Now,
you'll
here's
enjoy
an
it.
interesting question. Yes, stand right up. Who wanted to ask this question? Yeah.
I wanted to ask the psychics, what if you see danger in somebody's future or something like that?
You know,
how do
this
you
is
break
how I
that
see
down?
good and bad. I see it as a time when we're reaping what we've sown, and a time of learning. So it's not really a bad thing. It's a time to learn. Every experience, even relationships, is a time to learn
Will
something.
you tell someone of a tragedy? Will you predict a tragedy?
I don't.
I will warn
I don't.
someone. If I foresee, for instance, if they're going on a trip and there might be problems with the plane
Well,
or
that's a
problems with
little
the car.
problem
That's what
here,
she did
isn't
with
it?
us, and
Isn't that? That's a little
create-
problem with Rita,
No, you
isn't
don't
it?
create. What I do is I'll say, just be careful.
John, does Rita fly?
Robert dropped his ex-girlfriend Darlene because she was too dependent on psychics. Robert says he doesn't need a sixth sense to tell him their relationship is over for good. But to get a second opinion, we asked Monica and Kim, who are both psychics, to look into Robert and Darlene's future. And Kim, you've been with us before.
Yes.
You've got, by your own admission, a pretty good track record in terms of calling people's futures. What do you think's going on here?
Well, Darlene, you got to get a grip. It's too much, too often. I really feel as though she's overly dependent on psychics, and I think that 30 psychics are too many psychics.
But why should I not depend on psychics when they've always been 100% accurate for me?
Because you have a brain and you can think for yourself.
I have common sense. I have intelligence.
And you know
But the only thing is that 30 psychics are much too many psychics.
That's comparison.
But you have the same small voice that we do. And you can draw upon yourself, just like you can draw upon yourself, to get your own information.
She's been overly dependent on the psychics, and she hasn't been able to make her
But here's
own,
what I don't get. This thing about the disclaimer that they're always right. I still haven't heard evidence that they're ever right as far as your life is concerned.
I think that they put the seeds in her mind, and that she makes these scenarios become real life.
That I make it happen because
yes,
that's
I
what they
really
told
do.
me.
That's what it is.
I understand that Robert is probably. He doesn't want to be in this relationship because he's probably being tired of being spied on.
Well,
he's under a constant observation glass.
This is a man who also has the ability to think for himself and take control of his life, and he wants to be proud of his partner. He wants her to be like him, and he doesn't see that here, so this is why he has to move on.
And there's a trust issue here. Apparently, you don't trust Robert, and that's what the problem is. There's no bonding here in this relationship.
During our relationship was 100%, was it not? Or did you go off and cheat on me or something that I don't know
But
of?
wasn't the sex pretty good, though, here, between these two? These two are
Till I shot a
opposites.
raft.
Huh? That's the
Till I shot a raft.
But you know, in a sense, Jane, I agree with Darlene, because Robert has said some very mean things today, and apparently
not
they
mean.
weren't meant to
It's
be
not
together, but she should have made this decision on her own. I don't think she should have gone back constantly to the psychics. A psychic is only supposed to give you some clarification or direction. She's not supposed to rely on them to make decisions.
But let me just point out something that I just observed. Aside from the sex comment, the sex was pretty good, you guys didn't really extrapolate anything that the rest of us didn't hear, right? I mean, you didn't really tell them anything that the rest of us didn't kind of pick up on, except for the sex thing. No, we didn't know about the sex
They
thing.
are not meant to be together. That's
Why
what I truly
not? Well,
feel.
our families get along real well together. I love his children.
Well,
He
you
loves
don't
my children.
trust him, and he doesn't trust you, for one. And you cannot have a relationship unless it's based on trust.
I trusted him during the relationship, and as
Do
far
you
as
feel as though Darlene trusted you?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Apparently not. She had to keep going back to psychics.
I don't care.
you talk about psychics not predicting things and me making
no,
it happen.
no.
You say I make it happen.
I
When
think
predict
that when they
something
put
for
the
me.
seeds in your mind, you know, what you should do is
I was told I was going to have
Can you
a
imagine
really,
looking
really
for this all
bad day on November 30th.
You-
and I did. I broke my leg. Okay? Of course, it was his fault.
Put a
but I broke my
negative
leg.
mental image in her mind, and she...
And then the accident happened because I put a negative
that's a very
image there.
irresponsible psychic who would give you that kind of negative
Psychic
information
terrorists.
anyway.
They're psychic terrorists.
You're
People
all
that implant
irresponsible.
negative
What if you're going to have a
impressions.
bad day? Well, shouldn't you be cautioned for it? I mean,
No, because you know why? Because you have free will and you can create your own reality based on what you believe.
Okay, then let
and
me
if
ask-
you have a relationship also with something
Jane,
greater than yourself,
I'm sorry,
you're
but
okay.
common sense tells me I'm landing in the airplane. My leg might hurt if I don't if I leave it down on the floor. So I pick it up just to be careful. That's caution. What was the difference?
Okay, because what they're saying is you're predisposed when you get certain information. You were told you were going to meet a guy who was younger, who had blonde hair and looked like Robert. Maybe you went out looking for Robert subconsciously.
No.
Okay.
I did not go looking for you.
I think she manipulated the relationship.
I made it happen. You asked me to dinner and I made it happen.
I want to say something here. I believe that when a psychic gives you a lot of information about a relationship, it's too easy to start manipulating the relationship rather than letting nature take its course. I think she had too much information. I believe that every relationship that we have teaches us something about ourselves, our shortcomings, and the things that we need to learn, because love brings up anything unlike itself to be healed.
You know, and I think
it does.
Also, I think that if she had got information and the information was incorrect, she should have double-checked the information instead of keep going from psychic to psychic, because psychics have off days too. We are human just like everybody else.
Isn't going from one psychic to another double-checking?
No, 30 psychics are
Okay,
too
let
many,
me ask.
the final decision rests on yourself.
Let me ask Kim and Monica, have you ever actually, if somebody like Darlene came to you and somebody you knew they were psychic,
I would send them to a therapist.
You knew they were psychic hopping.
I would send them to a therapist.
Okay, that's the point. All right, what about you, Monica?
Well, I am a therapist also, so I combine two practices. And therefore, my practice is very solution-oriented. I would see what she has to learn in the relationship, because she's obviously missing all the red flags.
But you know,
they're right there, and she's not listening to them.
But the only problem with this is that Monica's a psychic and she's a therapist, but my problem with that is, where does your position as psychic stop and your position as therapist begin?
Very easy, because as a psychicist, you can perceive...
contradictory. I think that she should go to a therapist.
Are you a trained therapist?
Yes. Okay, the reason why it works together so well is because a psychic can see what's going on, and then the therapist can go to the solution.
I think it's contradictory.
Not at all.
I think she should be with a psychiatrist.
What red flags?
Someone that could...
They all need
The red for medication.
My goodness, you have to... All right, let's get the audience...
Advisory board.
Yes, my psychic advisory board is made up of the best psychics in America. And a special member of my psychic advisory board is here with us today, Richard. Help me welcome my good friend and one of my personal psychics, Monnica Sepulveda.
Our host will be getting a psychic reading, but you can get one before anyone by calling the number on your screen right now.
Welcome, Monica, to my show.
Monica, you know, you've appeared on a number of talk shows recently about how unhappy you are with a lot of psychic networks, and yet you're here today. What's different about what Linda is doing with her new network?
Richard, it's a matter of integrity, and Linda Georgian's psychic network has integrity at every level. And that's what I look for. We're looking to choose the best psychics in America, those who are experienced, who are solution-oriented. It's a positive experience, but mostly I really believe that the Linda Georgian Psychic Network does not create dependency, they create stronger people.
Well, tell me this, what are you looking for when you screen psychics for the network?
Experience, integrity, people that are willing to help other people help themselves.
Those are some very impressive goals.
They are, and the word has gotten out to psychics all over the country. We've been able to attract top quality psychics to my network, many who have never been available by phone before.
And we're talking about some psychics who ordinarily charge hundreds of dollars for a private reading. And one other thing that's really rare and special, Linda will be working the Linda Georgian Psychic Network. She'll actually be taking calls herself.
Oh, now, wait. You mean that someone could call the Linda Georgian Psychic Network and be connected with Linda Georgian?
Callers won't be able to request me, but some will be connected to me when I'm working.
I don't know anyone who's doing that. What do you think, audience?
Richard, how would you like to have a reading with one of the top psychics in America, Monica?
You mean right here?
Right here, right now, right there. Let's go.
To get your own psychic reading, call 1-900-336-9000. $3.99 per minute. You must be 18.
Okay. I will be gentle.
Okay.
The first thing I have to tell you is that immediately I'm picking up the opportunities that come your way. You're going to have to set your boundaries again. I know that it's important for you to reprioritize, and you have. You've come a long way. It's almost like there's two different people now from here and maybe 10, 15 years ago. And there's a lot of growth. I also feel too how important your family is. It's interesting to me that through finding peace and serenity, which is what you were looking for, I feel that you found that. You've got a lifelong mate also. This is someone who's going to be with you a very long time, and you really are in love.
Yeah.
But I see your sex drive going way up, so she better be ready for you. Things are really moving in a good direction for you. It actually started maybe about 1.5 years ago or so is what I see, and I saw you really regrouping last year. And now I just feel that stick to the boundaries that you've set for yourself. Make yourself the priority, because when you're in check, then you're able to be there for everybody else. How's that sound?
You nailed it.
Is there anything you wanted to know? Was there a question that you had?
Just be a little more specific about this coming Monday.
The feeling I get here is that this seems to be a new concept. Actually, these people seem to be always coming up with ideas, but this particular one, it will test your patience a little bit because there are some delays. In fact, I feel that there's going to be some changes, but you're really right for this, and you're going to enjoy it quite a bit. There's rapport also. I feel like you really like these people.
Yes, that is definitely true. Yeah.
So you're actually going to do well, but again, you want to make sure that you're setting your boundaries because you did tend to overdo it before, and now I feel that you're really making sure that you take care of you, and that's really good.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah.
Monica, you did.
Okay, it is almost a brand new year. 1996 is knocking at the door, and you know what that means. First of all, the good news is we've survived another year. 95 was a big one, wasn't it? A year that none of us will forget. I hope it was a good one for you. But the big question now as we look towards the future is what the heck is in store for this new one? It's pretty much anybody's guess. And need we be reminded, 1996 is an election year. So what about Bill Clinton? Will he be back for more, or will one of these men replace him? We want to know, you want to know, so today joining us are some of America's top psychics who can maybe tell us. Monnica Sepulveda is a psychic and a numerologist. She is the author of this audio program called Internal Equalizer, which helps people tap into their own psychic abilities. Now, she predicted the major quake in Japan last year. Moving on, Vox is known as the rock and roll psychic and can be heard on Real Radio 97.1 here in LA. She works with everybody from high-profile celebrities to homemakers. Her psychic abilities enabled her to predict the untimely death of River Phoenix. And Karen Page works as a psychic all over the world and predicted the assassination of John Lennon 10 months before it happened. And they say 2 minds are better than 1, and surely the same holds true for psychic minds. Linda and Terry Jameson are known as the Psychic Twins. Welcome, everybody. Let's get into this. This will be great fun. I'm really glad you're here today. We had a lot of newsmakers this past year, the biggest of which was probably O.J. Simpson. So the question for all of you is, what's going to happen with O.J. in 96? I mean, is he going to leave the country, Monica?
He's going to eventually leave the country. I think the verdict was accurate because if he would have been, this is what I got in a dream, if he would have been sentenced, there would have been a riot, there would have been unnecessary murders, and he would have been a hero. And I believe that by him being free, he's not really free. He's not a happy person. It's cost him a lot. His image is shot. So his punishment is very, very painful to him. And I believe he's going to eventually leave the country, but I do see him staying here for the civil lawsuits.
And how will those turn out?
Oh, he's gonna end up paying a lot.
Vox, will he keep his children? Will he get custody?
He won't keep them ultimately because it seems like they're having too much trouble bringing him up. You know, he's going to try to have this thing with Paul, and that's not going to work out. And he's going to have to leave.
Do you all agree or disagree?
Well, we've been channeling Nicole Brown Simpson's spirit all year since the beginning of the trial. And she did say that he actually was guilty. I think he's in grave danger next year. I see him moving, and I see Sydney moving back with the parents of Nicole.
That's right.
I don't see him leaving the country. I absolutely think he will relocate to another state. But pretty much his life is over. This will never go away. Never. Never, ever. And I don't ever see him getting custody of his children again.
Right. Yeah, the deep psychic suffering.
Yes.
So that you all agree on?
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Let's staying with the trial then. All the Marcia Clark, Chris Darden rumors about a relationship.
Not true.
Rumors is a good word. Rumors is an excellent word.
I feel like they really did get pretty close during that, and there was a lot of affection between them, but not any really sexual spark.
It's not a sexual relationship.
There's
it's
love
a good friendship.
But
I think they got to know each other as people rather than just as attorneys.
Like brother-sister almost.
In a way that the rest of us can never relate to, because what an experience, a life-changing experience that they went through side by side.
Absolutely.
Well, what about their chances for happiness? I mean,
He's going to end up getting married actually in about a year and a half. I don't see her getting married at all. She's got so much going on.
Yeah, she's too smart for that anymore.
Full play.
Well, I see, and I disagree. I think she definitely will get married again. But I don't think it'll be for another 3 years.
Oh,
I think he is going to relocate and move up to Northern California and wind up teaching at a university. And this whole OJ thing will become a huge part of his the course that he will design
for the rest of his life.
Yes, I think it'll be a starting point. And I know there's all that hype stuff about him doing a movie and a this and a that and all that jazz. But I really think his heart is in teaching law. But this broke his spirit.
Well, he always came off to me as being so vulnerable, and this seemed to impact him
fragile
tremendously. I mean, I know it did everyone, but you could really see it more with him. She always said, you know, that when they were denying the rumors that she would someday, you know, dance and sing at his wedding. So is she gonna?
Yeah, I think so. Sure, but it won't be theirs together.
That's right. We had Mary Jo and Joey Buttafuoco last year on our stage.
The Queen of Denial.
Together. Is that what you call her?
I think she's finally going to divorce him. I think this next, whatever it is, I think he's going to humiliate himself beyond belief.
No, wait, you mean further than he has already?
I think those are just a walk in the park.
If she was going to leave him, she would have left him.
Could there be another scandal greater than what we've already heard from Joey?
She'll never let go. She won't let go. She doesn't know how to be single.
If you can't get half your head blown off and like watch her total humiliation in front of the whole world and stick around for the rest of the show, I think she's lost, you know, part of her brain with whatever happened.
I think what happened there.
Sorry, Mary Jo.
See, I think there was a whole shift in the power of the relationship at that point, and that she became the one truly in control of the relationship. And she enjoyed that for a while. And then when he got busted with the hooker thing again out here, I mean, it was like...
She said happened because he was just a friendly guy.
Yeah, he's a friendly guy, and...
You know what I did?
I'm Pocahontas, you know.
The first time that I heard about that, when I first saw this Amy Fisher lady, or whatever you want to call her...
You're polite.
Basically speaking, I said he totally did it. I knew that he was guilty, and flat out he was going to get convicted. You know, and it was going to be proven, and he did have to go through with that. He's totally embarrassed.
Well, I think that he's going to do something that she's going to say, that's it, Buster. Hit the road.
Well,
maybe in
stay tuned for more scandal coming out of the Buttafuoco camp.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys watch the Princess Diana interview?
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
What? Let's talk about her, Linda and Terry. You know, the big question, of course, is will there be a divorce? Who will instigate it? What do you see?
No, I don't think so. She has too much to gain if she stays in it, and she's really into being a mother and an ambassador. I think she will take that position. Yeah, that's how I see it.
That's the trump card, yeah. She's a humanitarian in the making. This woman has a greater purpose, and the fact that she has gone through this difficulty and such pain is actually serving for a greater purpose in her life. She's going to be being a great lady.
To me, one of the most inspirational moments came out of tragedy this year with the accident that Christopher Reeve suffered. The power and spirit of his will has been so awesome to watch evolve.
He's extraordinary. He will walk again in 96,
He will make
promise you.
profound progress.
Boy, that's an encouraging note.
I agree.
We've got so much to talk about. We're going to get you in on the act and you in on the act. When we come back, we're going to find out what the future holds for some of Hollywood's most famous or infamous newsmakers. What's the story on Roseanne? Is she going to be giving me some competition with her own talk show? Let's get into it. And one of these celebrity bachelors may be headed for the altar. Can you guess which one and with whom? Plus, go on and get a pen and a piece of paper ready, because we're going to show you how you can determine what the new year has in store for you personally just by adding up a few numbers. Psychic predictions for 1996. This will be fun. Come on back and talk with us. Sepulveda, who says that these phone psychic lines are addictive and they are designed just to take your money. We'll be right back.
And what I teach my clients is to stop coming to me and depending on me, and psychic hotlines create dependency, and people stop thinking for themselves.
Want you to meet a psychic now who says that she is dead set against 900 numbers and that they're only here to take your money and keep you calling back. Please welcome Monnica Sepulveda. Hey, Monnica, welcome back. Thank you. Now, you have an interesting point of view because you are psychic.
Yes.
Why don't psychic abilities work over the phone? How come?
They work over the phone. The problem with the 900 hotlines is a lot of these companies employ over 1,000 people, and when you have like a celebrity or a person who's a legitimate psychic, like my very good friend has a psychic hotline, and she's very good, but you're not going to get her when you call. So you're taking a big risk. I mean, if you're going to hire an attorney or go to a doctor, wouldn't you check up on them first to see if they're good? You're taking a big risk. And the second thing I think that bothers me even more is, yes, there's some good psychics on those lines, but it's really hit and miss. You don't know. You have to call many times before maybe you find someone that's good, and it's really in integrity. So what really bothers me the most is that we all have intuition. We all have the voice of God within ourselves. And what I teach my clients is to stop coming to me and depending on me, and psychic hotlines create dependency, and people stop thinking for themselves. And that's what I oppose.
It can become pretty addictive. Yes. I mean, people develop a relationship with someone, they call back time and time again. Before you know it, we've talked to people who've spent tens of thousands of dollars. Have you ever called?
I called one time to see what it was like. I was put on hold for 6 minutes. I hung up.
Well, they charged you while you were on hold?
$24.
Is that legal?
No, I called the phone company and had it taken off.
That's something, by the way, that I'm going to give you tips towards the end of the show on what you can do if you get scammed like that with psychic lines or other things that may be ripping you off. Yes. Jackie, before the break, Monnica showed us how to determine our personal number. You did it with my birthday.
Yes, I did.
You took March 26th, added it to 1996.
The current year, exactly. What you do is you take the month and you always reduce to a single digit, which means you always add 2 numbers. For instance, we have the 26th. So we add 2 plus 6, that gave us an 8.
Okay.
This stayed the same. 1996 totals to 25. You add 2 plus 5 and you get a 7. So then we total 3 plus 8 plus 7, which gives us 18. And then again, you total 1 plus 8, which is 9. And that's how we got your personal year.
Where are all the 9s? Stand up 9s. Okay, what does this mean for us?
Okay, first of all, I've got to say that this is your own personal numerology report for 1996.
We love that.
It's month
Are
by
you
month.
serious?
This is for you.
The perks of this job. Thank you. I can't wait to go through it.
It's good.
What can you tell our 9s?
Okay, for a 9, for all of you standing up, the 9 year is one of conclusion. This is when you're coming to an end. You're looking at, if you think of gardening, pulling out the old weeds, getting rid of things that you don't need any longer, even reevaluating your relationships to see if they're liabilities or assets and letting go.
Year of achievement, you said?
It's a year of completion. You're letting go of things, you're reevaluating and starting to set new goals, but not taking the initiative or taking action at that point.
Okay, let's see.
It's a time of closing.
Let's see the 1s. Who are the 1s? What is the 1 year?
Oh, you cannot dawdle in a 1. You got to take action once. It's like you're planting the seeds in your garden, and if you don't plant anything, guess what happens? Nothing. Then you regret it. So you have to take action. You have to stand on your own 2 feet and believe in yourself.
2s, stand up. Here's your year.
Set boundaries. The tendency is to overdo it. Balance. Think of the scale, 2 sides. Make sure that you put your needs first and then go out and do it, but make sure you set your boundaries.
Don't worry. If you're watching, I'm going to run down the rest of them with Monnica when we come back and also answer this question: which of these men will be president? Take a guess. Our psychic predictions after this. To the 3s, what's their year?
Intuition, high creativity. Listen to your intuition and watch out for the emotions. They can go high and low.
4s, stand up.
Solid people, you're getting grounded on your own 2 feet. Be careful not to box yourself into a rut, like a square 4 sides.
5s.
Freedom, they want change, they want to move, they want to change their job. They're just like, oh, you got to stay focused, but you're going to make changes in a 5 year.
6s?
The affairs of the heart. People get married in a 6, or they can get divorced too. But at 6 is the affairs of the heart. You're going to find yourself very interested in familial things.
7s.
Introspection, looking at your life, doing some soul searching, and once again, deciding how to make more money.
All right, 8s, here's your year.
8, power year, power year. This is a year where everything is amplified. Go for it. Again, be assertive, but also be careful about negative thoughts because everything is amplified. Whatever you're thinking, take responsibility for it. Make sure you stay positive.
All right. Thank you. We talked about the presidential election. Will Clinton be reelected?
Absolutely.
Yes, he will.
Really? Are you surprised, audience?
2 terms.
Yeah.
2 terms.
I say no.
Definitely.
Monica's on the line.
Hey.
All right, I know there are a bunch of people who want readings. Get your hands up. Oh my goodness, that's everybody. Well, we'll do our best when we come back after this.
Okay, did you grow up and just
I've had
automatically
this all
become
my
a psychic,
life.
or did you go to psychic school
No, I've
101?
That was Monica Sepulveda. She was on a show that we taped. Gosh, that's been a couple of years back now. And that particular episode was with some other psychics talking about predictions. And we always wonder, you know, what happens? What is the success rate, if there's anything to it? But I got to tell you, it was on that program. You said that I was going to get pregnant and that I would have a boy, which
right.
I did. But this happened 2 years after the fact. And I must tell you, I was firmly on contraceptives at the time when she said that and not thinking about having a baby. So, Ian, what's up with that?
Well, how many times you make a prediction and how many times, the only times that people are going to talk about it are the times that it comes true. Nobody ever goes around talking about, I had a premonition. Nobody ever goes around on talk shows saying, hey, I was due to go on a plane flight and I dreamed it was going to crash and I didn't get on it, but nothing happened. That's not a story. The only time it's a story is when it checks out.
I know we all agree that there are scam artists out there, no question about it. There are people exploiting
Why
the
in
heck
the
out of
world did
people.
I ever pick a profession like this? I'll never know, but sometimes you have a calling. This is a tough business to be in, I'll tell you.
All right, but let's address some of the specifics. He says that the readings are very general, they're very broad, and that it's based on kind of a guessing game, that you put your toe in the water, if you get a bite, you go
I know
more.
what you're saying. If you're a beginner at this, you've got to start somewhere. You can't go into a gymnasium and lift 300 pounds. You've got to work up to that. I've been doing this for 26 years. And I can tell you that when you first start, there is a lot of generalities. But then you have to address what is intuition, because intuition and psychic ability is the same thing. So when he gets information about people, where did that thought come from? Maybe he translates that as his own thought, but maybe it's instinct.
But there are psychics who say that they see images, that they hear voices, that it plays like a movie in their mind.
Yes, because you receive it. The most common way that you have intuition is through your gut feeling. Like men say, I can't make a decision until I sleep on it. Most successful businessmen also make decisions through intuition. But after you start using it more and more daily, then you start developing the other areas, which is to see and to hear.
See, now, Ian, I go with that.
Well, that's fine. You're entitled to. But why am I being asked to regard that as psychic? Anybody can have a good chat with someone who's experienced, has a certain amount of insight about life. That's fine. And we all do that, and I can do that, and you can do that.
Yeah, he's intuitive, just like me.
But the readings I did were con games. They were nothing to do with intuition because they were written 3 years before I met any of these women.
You're kidding. Those were prepackaged readings?
These readings were written for a BBC program I did home 3 years ago.
Oh, my gosh. One size fits all. Oh, no.
And
wait a minute, I'll come back.
4 of them are the same reading.
Are you
we didn't bring that up.
No, because he said some things to me in our session that are not on this paper. And I want to know one thing. How did you know that something had happened to me 2 years ago?
Thank you.
Well, that's very true.
I'm
That's
also a very
true.
good ventriloquist. My lips don't move and the voice comes out.
What was your question?
I have a question for you. There's a very famous medium on TV, and he's written a couple of books, and he contacts the dead.
I know.
What's the story with him?
Not as good as me.
I'd like
How does he get away with that?
There's a lot of legal issues here. The minute we start mentioning proper names, the lawyers go crazy. So
No,
we
but
can't
let's
do
talk
that.
in general about spiritual mediums who communicate
like
with the
I say,
dead.
this is the deal. Anything a genuine psychic does, I've been challenged by the media, by journalists, by the press, by scientists to do. I'm not an immodest man, but I am telling you the truth. I do these things as well or better than the psychics do, and I am as psychic as a teapot.
But you're very intuitive, and it's the same thing. I think the word psychic's been misused. I think because of these, you know, the hotlines that we've seen on television for the last 5 years has totally tarnished this. I mean, for me to be in a business where I'm ridiculed, I mean, that's really tough. But I stick with it anyway because I know that I don't speak in terms of generalities. Yes, we all are good communicators, or we want to be. We don't want to look like idiots and say, no, I'm a bad communicator. But when you start getting specific, and when information comes up that these people go, how did you know? How did you know that specific thing? I can't, at that point in time, say that it's a crock. It isn't. I've been doing it too long.
We had a medium on the show once, and they were to be interviewing someone on the stage, and they said, wait a minute, came out here, and there were very specific stories, someone who had hung himself, and lots of details, And we all had shivers up our spines. I mean, they were not general comments.
I know, and let's correct one thing. I can get specific too. Now, there's a lady sitting right here. Forgive me that I don't know your name. I didn't remember it from the session. I think you're called Kathy. Nobody looking at Kathy or using body language would know that 26 years ago she was a very successful jazz singer. I told her this in the green room before we met. Is this correct?
Yes. I was with a group, yes.
Now, at the time, and I know now you know I'm a fake and all this, at the time that that happened, you were impressed, and if I told you I was a genuine psychic, you would have gone for that.
Yes.
Have you figured out yet how I did it?
No.
How did you do it?
I did not know what I said. I said things that sounded as if I knew more than I did, and Kathy worked with me to actually provide the detail in her mind, not in mine.
How'd you do the cigarette thing?
With some very clever chemicals, which we conceal and which we have there.
And you busted him on it, right? Okay. Next up, this real-life scam artist did time for his cons. Think you're too smart to fall for him? Think again. A con man's tricks of the trade right after this. We'll see you here. And also, while he's looking for people, go ahead, Michael. I'm going to tell you that Monica gave Brett a reading backstage.
Got a headache?
Tell how it went.
I couldn't believe it. Here I am, a con artist, and I met her for the first time, and she said, I'm going to tell you about yourself, and I'm saying, BS, that's impossible. She tells me what kind of car I drive, where I live, about past relationships. It was amazing. She actually told me, and if it was too much to be just luck.
Okay, now what's happening here?
She said she has a headache. And I'm going to spin a
Reader Linda Georgian, author of If You Really Want to Do It Right, has been helping people find true love through psychic visualization and which I can't wait to find out about today, and psychic and numerologist Monnica Sepulveda, who says that the numbers are the key to your romantic destiny. Welcome them all to the show, won't you? I'm really looking forward to this today.
So are we.
You know, I think that next to wanting to know what's in the stars with our own love lives and the questions that we all have on our minds, we're all curious about what's in the stars for the stars. So can I put out some couplings?
Sure.
The people that the tabloids just won't leave alone, and let's hear your input on those. No, actually, I want to start with Julia and Lyle.
I have your answer.
Oh my gosh, I can't even get the questions out and they've got the answers. Okay, what's the story?
That's why we get the big bucks, honey.
Well, I guess that must be it. What's the story on Julia and Lyle?
Actually, what I see happening here is that she needs more of a father figure, and he represents stability for her. So she's in that relationship right now because it'll ground her, it'll help her. Her career is going to actually soar because of this. I don't feel it's going to be a lifelong marriage, but she's getting her needs met at this time. Her father died when she was about 8 years old, so she has a void, and this is helping her out. He's a wonderful person. He's got good values, and she needs that stability.
But now, one of you said that you didn't think they'd make it much past a year.
I felt when they first got married that I didn't sense that that would last probably about a year to about 14 months. And I still don't really see that that will be a relationship that'll probably go to 2 years. That's my prediction for the two of them.
Wow, so they just celebrated their 1-year anniversary, and there was this big controversy because they celebrated it apart, and people tried to make a deal of it, and you're saying there may be a deal
But I
of it.
do agree with Monica that he is a father figure for her, but she is going to outgrow that, I feel, and her eyes will rove as they already are, although she claims that they aren't roving, but I see the psychic truth.
Oh my gosh, see it and tell it all.
They're both Scorpios, which is very interesting. And Jupiter's there right now, as well as Pluto in the North Node. So they're both having a compelling, fabulous year in the respective careers. Jupiter, wherever it is, gives you money. When Jupiter was at Libra at 6 degrees, our president, Clinton, who his ascendant is 6 degrees Libra, got elected on that day. So wherever Jupiter is, for instance, when it was in Aquarius, Oprah got syndicated, Reagan became president. So they're both going to have to really deal with their career issues. But Scorpios are very intense people. She won't let go of them probably until November of next year. There will be a little bit of a conflict around the eclipses.
But now you mentioned Oprah, so let's get into her stuff.
Oh, Miss Oprah, I have to say.
Let's get into Miss Oprah stuff. What is the story with Stedman and the wedding?
They are married spiritually, so that she doesn't have a need to get the ring and to have the legal documents right away because she feels married to him already. So she's not in any hurry to get married. They're going to end up together forever. I agree. And I don't see any children for them, actually.
I see a child. I felt that she would have a child. I saw a little girl. But they are like soulmates. I don't see anything interfering with that. They'll stay together, and I'm sure that Karen knows astrologically
I
what's
do.
going
I happen
on
to
there.
have Oprah Winfrey's birthday. I'm in between Dolly Parton and Oprah Winfrey. Honey, if that isn't taking it to the bank, nothing is.
Really?
Oprah is an Aquarian. She's January 29th, and Stedman is a Pisces, and her Venus is in Pisces. And I want to tell all of you just one little quick rule of thumb that'll help you every day. Your sun sign is only your persona to the public. Your moon, Mars, and Venus are your relationship planets. And they have as strong a relationship as Ted Turner and Jane Fonda do. And I agree they are very much soulmates. I think that, I asked her at nap and she said, well, you know, I have lots of dogs, honey. I said, well, you can have babies too, you know. I might adopt a child.
Oh, I'm glad they're going to be together.
Oh, they're going to be together,
Yeah,
honey,
really.
as long as there's money in the bank. You
Well,
know?
well, something tells me she's got enough of that to last several
Oh, right.
lifetimes.
I'm telling you, if she take care of the national debt, we could all have credit cards at Neiman's.
I hear you. I hear you. What's and Monnica Sepulveda, all of whom use their psychic abilities to help people find true romance. And Monnica, I'd like to feature you this segment. If we could focus on numerology. And I know you've got this little easel up here so that you can do a little demo for us. But can a person be incompatible astrologically and yet be compatible numerologically?
Actually, they go hand in hand very well. I find that they work together very well. And the numbers, there isn't really such a thing as incompatible numbers, but they're more challenging than others. So if you find out your mate's personal year, you can see what they're going through and you can go with it and compromise a little bit and vice versa. So you can learn to kind of go with the flow. As men and women, we're so different anyway, we communicate so differently, but if you learn how the other person speaks and what they're all about and vice versa, then you can move into something called empathy, which allows you to be able to get along better. So numbers each have their specific, you might say, interpretation. What I'd like to do is look at the personal years so that a person can see what they're going through each year. And we can do yours today.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know how many people are with me on this. I'm not really sure what your number is or what that means or how you know what it is.
Numerology is very extensive, but when I do a reading, I like to take the cycle of the personal year to find out what exactly the focus is for the year. It's easier to do that because the study of numerology is so extensive. It takes sometimes a few hours to do a whole chart, but I want to simplify it just to the personal year. And the way we find that out is to add the month of the birth to the day of the birth to the current year of 1994. And this will give you the personal year.
Okay, well, let's approach the
yours.
easel.
Can we do yours?
So, yes, of course. No, I'd love that. So, March is the 3rd month, right?
Okay, so this is the easiest way to do it.
All right, the 26th day.
Okay.
And you add that to 1994?
Right. Okay, we already know. Let's see. You always reduce everything to single digits, so this stays the same.
Right.
2 plus 6 equals 8. 1994 totals to a 5. If you total them, okay. So
what?
1994 totals to 5. You take 1 plus 9 equals 10, plus 9 is 19, plus 4 is 23. You total them together. So it would look like this. 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 4.
Okay. Am I really dense? Is anybody with me on this?
Yes.
They got it. They got it.
If you total those 4 numbers, it gives you a total of 23, okay? So what we do is we put 23 here, but then you have to reduce it to a single digit, so it's 2 plus 3,
I'm
which
with
equals
you. I'm
5.
sorry. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add these 3 numbers together.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to total these 2 first. 8 plus 3 is 11, which we reduce to a 2. Then we add that to the 5. And you are in a 7 personal year, which means that for you, this is a very introspective year. You're going to look at your life to see if you're happy with the way it is. It is a year of inspiration for you. It's a year where your own intuition is going to come up and give you the ideas that will inspire you so that next year you can take action and put them to use.
Ooh, introspective year. Who wants to know what kind of a year you're having? Go.
How about March 5th?
March 5th. Okay, so March 5th would be 3, 5, which equals an 8. Then we take the 8 and total it to the 5, which gives us 13, or a 4. So you're in a 4 personal year. This is a year where you're going to get really organized. You have to get really organized. You're taking your ideas from last year and you're putting them into concrete form. But make sure that you don't let yourself get into a rut because you might get in there and become a workhorse, so you have to play.
You said you just
graduated.
Yeah, good luck. Get organized.
Everybody wants this done, right? Well, go ahead.
August 30th. August 30th. Oh, I like that. You know, I feel a lot of creativity with you especially, but you have to make sure that you don't struggle between your intellect and your intuition, because you go back and forth. You have this ability to get these great ideas, but then you have to check with your intellect. Well, I wonder, because you're a little cautious, you know, I wonder if this is the right thing to do. That'll get you in trouble, but I want to say go with your first instinct. This is a good year for you, actually. Monetarily speaking, you're going to do very well next year. Okay?
Okay, back here.
So I was born in February, exactly 19 and 20, 12 o'clock in the midnight.
Okay, I don't need that information. I just need the month and day.
Okay, February 19 or 20. So
You don't know which day?
No, they asked my mom, what date do
Was
you
she
need?
there?
And yes.
You know, I pick up the 20th for you for some reason, and I feel that you're the peacemaker. You're the person that's a peacemaker. You like to keep everything calm, but you need to make sure that you don't overdo it. I feel like you put too much energy in work, and you need to be a little nicer to yourself. You have a tendency of being hard on yourself.
The hands are flying. You know what? You were just giving me that thing, so here you go. Stand up.
August 16th? August 16th. Oh, I see. Okay. What's going on with you this year is that you have to make sure that you take care. This is a task. Take care of mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. When you're out of whack, you got to check one of those 4 things to see which one's off. You need to make sure that you rest. Compassion. You have compassion. You're the kind of person, I feel, that you need security in your life. You like to have nice things around you is what I see. But my feeling is not to be so cautious that you don't take chances. You need to take some chances. This year you don't have to really be aggressive at all, but next year I feel is going to be actually more of your year.
Oh, the hands are flying. You know what? I want to find out what all of our psychic friends thought about this coupling of Andre Agassi and Brooke Shields.
Well, I feel that...
And Monica, this has been really fun. Thank you so much. Come on back and we'll do it again sometime.
We'd love to.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.
If you just joined us, we've been talking to people who are, in some sense of the word, addicted to psychic hotlines. They call an awful lot. Sometimes they get help, sometimes they don't. In any event, they sometimes build up lots of big bills. Now I want you to meet psychic Monnica Sepulveda. After 22 years in the psychic business, she says she's getting out because of the hotlines. Now, adults are deciding to call. Why shouldn't they be able, if they make a decision? You know, you and I might be sitting here and saying, I don't know what you're calling, you're wasting your money, but it's an adult making a decision. I get comfort from this. I want to call. Why shouldn't you be able to do that?
Well, first of all, I have to say that when you call psychic hotlines repeatedly, it creates a dependency where you stop making decisions for yourself. And I want to tell Cindy that you're a very powerful person and you have the answers right here. And all you have to do is take time to calm down. She can call if she wants to, but when it becomes out of hand like it has, she has to go inside because that's where the answers are.
Well, aren't they supposed to help you do that, though? When you call a psychic?
No, you're taking a chance because you don't know who you're going to get. That's the problem. I called once out of curiosity. I was put on hold for 6 minutes and billed $24 for listening to music.
They did that to me, too.
Do you get... Yeah. And you know the worst of it, they were talking to Richard Chamberlain at the time.
Cindy, I have a question for you. You read Paul's phone bill, right? And you said because you both were having problems. Well, why didn't you get a job or something? And that way you get your own phone and run up your own phone bill instead of someone else's.
You know...
What do they say about it?
They can't stand this 900 number. And, you know, right now I'm feeling like a total idiot for even ever calling it. It's a big scam, and she knows it is. No, look at these. Look at this on her finger. That's where our money goes.
Oh, well,
no, wait,
okay.
I mean,
No,
come
it's
on.
true.
No,
My mother gave me some
You
jewelry.
know-
It's not from buying jewelry.
Everybody's entitled to make a living. I think people deserve to be wealthy. That's fine. I don't take that away. The problem I have with the Psychic Friends Network is the word friends, because friends don't charge you $3.99 a minute.
That's right, they don't.
Okay, so I don't like the title of it.
I believe 900 numbers pretty much are $3.99 a minute. And the thing is that there are scams out there. I'm not saying that there aren't. I can only say that the people that I know that work for our line, I'm not going to be involved with the line that's ripping people off. And I only can say that if you have had a problem, you can call. But there's some outstanding psychics who have helped police, who have been in business for many years.
Yeah, but they're not on the hotline, because when you call, you get idiots.
And Margie,
Okay, I'll tell you what. Hold on.
Okay, I got a question.
You can switch to someone else.
$3.99 a minute.
You don't have to continue staying on the line.
Is there somebody here who in the next segment we're going to get a psychic on the phone who would like to talk to? Okay, well here, what's your name, ma'am? Wait, let me get up there with a microphone. What's your name?
Sandra.
Okay, this is Sandra, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Sandra, you're going to talk to a psychic on the phone and see if your life kind of screwed up right now?
Oh, well, not really screwed.
But
No.
you're looking.
Screwed up, but yeah, I could use answers.
She could use answers. Is she going to get them?
She's got them in her heart. You know what to do.
Yes, but first we're going to make a call. And I'm telling you what, and we're going to foot the bill. $3.99 a minute. We're going to pay for it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Right.
Okay. I want you all to get a pencil and paper because up next, expert advice and Monica's tips on how you can gain control of your own life without the help of a psychic. Please stay with us.
For your free tickets to the Jerry Springer Show in Chicago, write Jerry Springer, tickets, Post Office Box 4115, Chicago, Illinois, 60654. Or call 312-321-5365.
Make them feel good, even if it's bad for them. And in this case, it's bad for them because it's bad for them economically.
Right.
But you're taking a big risk also, because if you're talking to someone who's doesn't have any integrity, then this is your life, and you can't mess with someone's life like that. There are some people that have integrity, that have their heart in the right place, but that doesn't mean all 1,700 do.
But there are people
I'll tell you what,
who
I've got to take a break. Yes, I have to take a break. We'll have a final thought when we come back. Stay with us. Let me take this opportunity to thank all of you for being with us. One, for providing a good service. Two, for, I hope you get over what appears to be an addiction at this point. But I don't need to tell you anything because you already know what I'm about to say. Because you're all psychics. This isn't about whether psychics can help or whether it's all real. I suspect in some cases the answer to both questions is yes. In fact, I've seen here on our show, as well as back when I was Cincinnati's mayor, psychics actually help solve serious crimes. So as cynical as I usually am, I do believe there are dimensions beyond what we can see, touch, and hear. And there are some among us who have a gift of communicating at that level. But I believe in God and religion as well, and that doesn't mean I buy every money-grubbing preacher that hits the television screen with teary-eyed pleas of send me your money and you'll be saved or healed or whatever. Indeed, there are unscrupulous people even in the most righteous of endeavors, particularly when those to whom the product is being directed are the emotionally vulnerable. And that's the red flag here. You see, the people who call the psychic hotlines are often those most in need of encouraging words or information, often those most vulnerable to picking up the phone, whatever the cost, to hear a friendly voice. And because the need is so great, the potential for abuse is so great as well. Now, I am not suggesting the hotlines are all fraudulent. They are not. Sometimes they can help. But if you're calling on a regular basis, spending more money than you can afford, let me offer you this psychic prediction. And it's free. You'll soon be broke. And maybe heartbroken as well. It's true. It's easier to make friends than buy them, particularly at $3.99 a minute. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.
Springer's Wardrobe, provided by Ultimo, Chicago, Illinois.
Straight ahead here on the noon news.
Halloween is here, and this sale is charged with terrific values for your home and family. Embassy watches buy and grow and make the perfect gift, now 40% off, and save 20 to 30% on our entire stock of Young Men's branded active